Your soulmate wants to meet you. This is not a random thought that crossed your mind. This is not imagination. This is not coincidence. Something inside you has been pulling you toward this message because somewhere, someone connected to your soul has reached a point where distance no longer feels safe. They have tried to stay away. They have tried to stay silent. They have tried to convince themselves that time will fix everything. But it hasn't. Instead, the feeling has grown stronger. The urge to see you, to stand in front of you, to finally say what has been unsaid for so long has become impossible to ignore. Your soulmate has reached a moment where words are no longer enough. Messages are no longer enough. Memories are no longer enough. They want to look into your eyes and confirm what their heart already knows. They want to meet you because something inside them is shifting fast. They are realizing that life keeps moving forward whether they are ready or not, and the idea of moving forward without you feels wrong. For a long time, they told themselves that the timing was bad, that circumstances were complicated, that responsibilities came first, that emotions could be controlled. But the truth is, emotions like this do not disappear. They wait. They build. And now they are overflowing. Your soulmate has been replaying moments with you in their mind. Small conversations. Short interactions. Even silences. Especially the silences. They keep wondering what would happen if they saw you again. Would you still feel the same? Would you still recognize the connection? Would your energy still feel familiar? These questions are haunting them. That is why they want to meet you. Not casually. Not randomly. They want a real moment. A moment where masks drop. A moment where pretending stops. A moment where the truth can finally breathe. They are tired of holding back. Tired of acting unaffected. Tired of living a life that looks fine on the outside but feels incomplete on the inside. And you are at the center of that feeling. Even if you have been silent. Even if you have moved on in some ways. Even if you think they forgot. They did not. They never did. Your presence left an imprint that did not fade. It stayed with them through distractions, through other people, through busy days and restless nights. And lately, something has triggered this urgency. Something has made them realize that waiting longer could mean losing the chance forever. That is why the thought of meeting you keeps coming back stronger each day. They imagine where it would happen. How they would approach you. What they would say first. They imagine your reaction. Your smile. Your confusion. Your warmth. And they feel both excited and terrified at the same time. Because meeting you means facing everything they have avoided. It means facing feelings they buried. It means risking rejection. But the risk of never seeing you again feels worse. Your soulmate is at a crossroads. One path leads to comfort and familiarity. The other leads to truth. And truth almost always feels uncomfortable before it feels right. That is why the universe is pushing this message toward you now. Because the energy between you is becoming active again. You may have noticed signs. Sudden thoughts of them. Dreams that feel real. Emotional waves that come out of nowhere. A strange sense that something is about to happen. These are not accidents. These are signals of alignment. Your soulmate's desire to meet you is creating movement in the connection. Even if they have not spoken yet. Even if there is physical distance. Energetically, they are already reaching toward you. They want to see if the connection still feels the same in real life, not just in memory. They want confirmation that what they feel is real and mutual. And deep down, they are hoping that when they meet you, they will see it in your eyes too. Because if they do, everything changes. Meeting you would force decisions. Honest ones. Big ones. Decisions about priorities. About courage. About what kind of life they truly want to live. That is why this meeting feels heavy with meaning. It is not just about seeing you. It is about choosing a direction. And your soul already knows this. That is why this message feels personal. That is why it feels like it is speaking directly to you. Because it is. Your soulmate is not just thinking about meeting you. They are preparing themselves emotionally for it. They are working through fear. They are questioning their own limits. They are slowly convincing themselves that vulnerability is worth the risk if it means being closer to you. And soon, very soon, this desire will turn into action. A message. A call. A sudden plan. Something unexpected. When it happens, it may feel sudden to you, but it has been building inside them for a long time. So when that moment comes, remember this. This meeting is not about pressure. It is not about forcing outcomes. It is about truth. About clarity. About allowing two souls to stand in the same space and feel what is real. Whatever happens after that will be guided by honesty, not fear. And that is why this moment matters. Because your soulmate wants to meet you not to confuse you, not to play games, not to waste time, but because something real is pulling them toward you, and they can no longer ignore it. Your soulmate wants to meet you, but what you don't see is how much inner conflict they are carrying right now. On the outside, they appear normal. They laugh, they talk, they move through their routine like nothing is wrong. But inside, there is restlessness. A constant pull. A feeling that something unfinished is calling them back. They have tried to distract themselves. They have tried to stay busy. They have tried to convince their mind that meeting you would complicate things. Yet every distraction fails the moment they are alone. Late at night, when the world quiets down, your presence becomes loud in their thoughts. They replay old moments not because they want to live in the past, but because those moments remind them of who they truly are when they are connected to you. There is a version of themselves that only exists when you are around, calmer, more honest, more alive. And lately, they have been missing that version of themselves deeply. That is why the desire to meet you is no longer just emotional, it feels necessary. They feel like something inside them is incomplete, like a chapter was paused in the middle and never finished. They wonder if you feel it too. They wonder if you sense the same pull, the same unspoken tension. Sometimes they even imagine that you might be feeling distant or confused, not understanding why their energy suddenly shows up in your thoughts. They want to meet you to clear that confusion. To replace imagination with reality. To see if the connection still sparks the same way when you are face to face. They are afraid, yes, but they are more afraid of regret. The idea of looking back one day and realizing they never tried feels heavier than the fear of rejection. That is why their heart keeps pushing them forward. They have started noticing signs everywhere. Songs that remind them of you. Places that feel empty without you. Random moments where your name or your face flashes in their mind without warning. These signs are strengthening their resolve. They are slowly realizing that some connections are not meant to fade quietly. Some are meant to be faced directly. And you are one of those connections for them. When they think about meeting you, they don't imagine dramatic scenes or perfect words. They imagine something simple. Sitting across from you. Hearing your voice again. Watching your expressions. Feeling the energy between you settle into something familiar and intense at the same time. They imagine silence that feels comfortable instead of awkward. They imagine a moment where time slows down and everything else fades away. That is what scares them most, because they know once they feel that again, pretending will be impossible. Meeting you would confirm what they have been avoiding, that the bond between you is real and unresolved. They know that once they meet you, they will have to be honest, not just with you but with themselves. And honesty means change. It means letting go of excuses. It means stepping out of comfort zones. It means admitting that some choices were made out of fear rather than truth. That is why they have delayed this meeting for so long. But delay does not erase destiny. It only intensifies it. Right now, your soulmate is in a phase of preparation. They are emotionally organizing themselves. Letting go of unnecessary attachments. Reevaluating priorities. Asking themselves what truly matters. And you keep coming up as the answer to that question. That is why the universe is aligning circumstances slowly. Small shifts. Unexpected openings. Moments where meeting you suddenly feels possible when it didn't before. You may soon notice a change in their behavior. A sudden reach out. A message that feels different, more sincere, more direct. Or even silence that feels charged, like something is about to break. That silence is not absence. It is courage gathering. When they finally decide to meet you, it will not be impulsive. It will come from a place of emotional clarity. They want the meeting to be meaningful, not rushed. They want to show up as themselves, not guarded, not half-present. And when that moment happens, you will feel it immediately. There will be a sense of recognition, like seeing someone you already know deeply even if time has passed. The air will feel different. Conversations will flow naturally, touching things that were never said before. You may feel emotions rise unexpectedly, not because the moment is overwhelming, but because it is honest. Your soulmate wants this meeting to be a turning point, not just a memory. They want to know if you are still open. If your heart still responds to theirs. If the connection can move forward instead of staying suspended in uncertainty. And even if the outcome is not exactly what they imagine, they know the meeting itself is necessary for growth. Because unresolved connections drain energy, while faced connections bring clarity. Right now, clarity is what both of you need, even if you don't fully realize it yet. This meeting is approaching because both of your souls are ready for truth. Ready to stop wondering and start understanding. Ready to either rebuild or release with peace instead of confusion. That is why this message finds you now. Because you are standing at the edge of something important. And whether the meeting brings answers, healing, or a new beginning, it will not be meaningless. It will close a chapter that has been open for too long or open one that was always meant to be written together. Your soulmate feels this deeply, even if they haven't said it yet. And very soon, the distance between thought and action will disappear. When that happens, trust what you feel. Because this meeting is not random. It is aligned. Your soulmate wants to meet you because something inside them has finally stopped running away. For a long time, they believed distance was protection. They believed silence was safer than honesty. They believed that if they didn't see you, didn't hear your voice, didn't stand in your presence, the feelings would slowly fade. But instead of fading, those feelings transformed. They became quieter but deeper. Stronger. More rooted. And now they understand that avoiding you did not free them, it trapped them in unfinished emotion. They have reached a point where clarity matters more than comfort. They want to meet you because they are tired of guessing. Tired of imagining your reactions. Tired of wondering what might have happened if they were braver earlier. This desire to meet you is not driven by loneliness. It is driven by recognition. They recognize that you are not replaceable. That the connection they share with you does not repeat itself with just anyone. They have tried comparing. They have tried moving on. But every comparison ends the same way. Something is always missing. Something always feels forced. And that realization has humbled them. It has made them accept that some bonds are not meant to be forgotten, only understood. When they think of meeting you, they feel nervous in a way they don't feel with others. Not because they fear you, but because you matter. Your opinion matters. Your presence matters. The energy you bring into their life matters. They don't want to show up careless or half-hearted. They want to meet you when they are emotionally present, when they can listen instead of defend, when they can speak honestly instead of hiding behind jokes or distractions. They have been working on themselves quietly. Reflecting on past actions. On words they didn't say. On moments where fear controlled their choices. Meeting you feels like facing a mirror that shows the truth without judgment. And that truth is both intimidating and comforting. They know that once they meet you, they won't be able to pretend that everything is fine if it isn't. They won't be able to deny what their heart reacts to when you are near. That is why this meeting feels heavy with significance. It is not casual. It is not impulsive. It is intentional. Even if the invitation comes unexpectedly, the energy behind it has been building for a long time. You might feel this build-up too. A sense of anticipation without knowing why. Emotional sensitivity that feels heightened. A feeling that something is shifting beneath the surface of your life. That is because this connection is activating again. When two souls are linked deeply, distance does not disconnect them. It only delays physical expression. Energetically, the bond continues to communicate. That is why thoughts travel. Emotions echo. And timing aligns in strange ways. Your soulmate has reached a stage where they no longer want to live with unanswered questions. They want to know if you still feel the same pull. If your energy still responds to theirs. If the connection can grow instead of staying frozen in memory. They want to meet you to feel grounded again. To anchor emotions that have been floating without direction. They are not expecting perfection. They are not expecting instant answers. They are simply expecting truth. And truth feels healing to them now. They have learned that avoiding pain only stretches it longer. Facing it brings relief, even if it is uncomfortable at first. That is why they are gathering courage. Courage to send the message. Courage to suggest the meeting. Courage to sit across from you without knowing exactly how it will end. This courage is new for them. And it is coming because they are finally choosing growth over fear. When the meeting happens, it may feel subtle on the surface. A simple hello. A normal conversation. But underneath, emotions will be moving fast. There will be moments where eye contact lingers longer than usual. Where silence speaks louder than words. Where both of you sense that this is not just another interaction. You may feel old emotions rise, not because you are weak, but because they were never finished. That is okay. This meeting is meant to bring awareness, not confusion. It is meant to show both of you where you truly stand now, not where you stood in the past. And whatever realization comes from it will be valuable. Whether it confirms that the connection is ready to move forward or shows that it needs closure, it will bring peace. Your soulmate understands this now. That is why meeting you feels necessary, not optional. They don't want to keep carrying questions into the future. They want answers that allow them to move with certainty instead of doubt. And you deserve that clarity too. You deserve to know where you stand in their heart. You deserve honesty instead of mixed signals. This meeting is approaching because both of your souls are strong enough to handle the truth now. The timing is aligning because emotional readiness has finally arrived. When it happens, trust your intuition. Pay attention to how you feel, not just what is said. Energy does not lie. And this meeting will reveal more than words ever could. Your soulmate wants to meet you because deep down, they already know the connection is real. They just need to feel it in the same space as you once again to decide what comes next. Your soulmate wants to meet you because the universe has stopped allowing avoidance. Every delay, every excuse, every moment of hesitation has reached its limit. They feel it clearly now. Something inside them knows that if they do not act, life will force change anyway, and that change may come with regret. They are no longer comfortable living in the almost space with you. Almost talking. Almost confessing. Almost choosing. Almost moving forward. Almost forgetting. Almost everything. That space has become unbearable. The emotional weight of not knowing has started affecting them in ways they did not expect. They feel distracted even when surrounded by people. They feel disconnected even when things seem fine. And the truth is, their heart has been comparing every moment to the ones connected to you. Not because you were perfect, but because the connection was real. Raw. Honest. Unfiltered. And real connections do not dissolve just because time passes. They transform. They wait. They return when both souls are ready to face them. Your soulmate is realizing now that no amount of logic can silence what their soul keeps repeating. They miss the way you understood them without needing explanations. They miss the way your presence felt grounding, even when things were uncertain. They miss how being around you made them feel more like themselves, not less. And that realization has hit them deeply. It has humbled them. It has stripped away pride. It has forced them to confront the truth that running away did not make them stronger, it only made them lonelier. Meeting you now feels like reclaiming a lost part of themselves. They are not approaching this meeting from a place of ego anymore. They are approaching it from vulnerability. From honesty. From a quiet readiness to face whatever the outcome may be. They know you may have changed. They know you may be guarded. They know you may question their intentions. And they accept that. Because they understand now that trust is rebuilt through presence, not promises. Through consistency, not words. That is why they want to meet you in person. To let their energy speak where words once failed. To let you feel the sincerity instead of guessing it. They want you to see them as they are now, not as the version who hesitated, not as the version who stayed silent, but as someone who finally understands what matters. And this understanding did not come easily. It came through loss. Through reflection. Through moments where they imagined a future without you and felt something break inside. Those moments taught them that some connections are not meant to be replaced, only honored. Your soulmate has been asking themselves hard questions. What am I afraid of? Why did I wait so long? What would happen if I chose courage instead of comfort? And every honest answer keeps leading back to you. That is why this meeting is inevitable. Because it is no longer about romance alone. It is about alignment. About integrity. About living truthfully instead of surviving quietly. When they imagine seeing you again, they feel a mix of nervousness and relief. Nervousness because they care deeply about how you feel. Relief because they are finally moving toward truth instead of away from it. They imagine telling you things they never said before. Not dramatic confessions, but simple truths. That they thought of you more than they admitted. That letting go was harder than they showed. That some nights they wondered if you felt the same pull. They imagine listening to you too. Truly listening. Without interrupting. Without defending. Without minimizing your experience. They know they owe you that respect. And they are ready to give it. This meeting is not meant to rush anything. It is meant to slow everything down. To bring awareness back into a connection that has been living in fragments. You may feel emotional before it happens. A sense of unease mixed with anticipation. A feeling that something old is resurfacing for a reason. That is because your soul recognizes what your mind may not fully understand yet. This meeting is a checkpoint. A moment of alignment. A chance for both of you to see where you stand now, not where you stood before. And whatever clarity comes from it will be powerful. Because clarity releases energy. It allows growth. It allows peace. Your soulmate understands that meeting you may change everything. And they are finally okay with that. They are ready for change. Ready to step into a version of themselves that chooses honesty even when it is uncomfortable. Ready to accept responsibility for past silence. Ready to show up instead of disappearing. That readiness is rare. And it is happening now because the connection has matured. It has survived distance. It has survived silence. It has survived time. And that survival has given it depth. When the meeting happens, you may notice small things. How their eyes soften when they look at you. How their body language is open instead of guarded. How their voice carries emotion even when they try to sound calm. These are signs of someone who is no longer hiding. You may feel seen in a way you haven't felt in a long time. Not because they are saying the perfect things, but because they are present. Fully present. And presence is the highest form of commitment. This meeting is not about pressure to decide the future instantly. It is about truth revealing itself naturally. About two souls acknowledging what has always been there. Whether the path forward leads to rebuilding, redefining, or releasing with love, it will be done with awareness instead of confusion. That alone is healing. Your soulmate wants to meet you because they are done running from themselves. And since you are deeply connected to who they truly are, meeting you is part of that return. This is why the timing feels intense. This is why emotions feel amplified. This is why this message resonates. Because something real is approaching. And when it arrives, it will not be loud or chaotic. It will be quiet. Grounded. Honest. And it will change how both of you understand this connection forever. Your soulmate wants to meet you because something irreversible has awakened inside them. This is no longer curiosity. This is no longer nostalgia. This is a deep internal realization that whatever they are running from is actually what they need to face to finally feel whole. They have reached a point where distractions no longer work. Even success, attention, or validation from other places feels empty. They smile, but the smile fades quickly. They achieve things, but the satisfaction doesn't last. Because somewhere inside, their soul knows it is out of alignment. And you are directly connected to that alignment. They have begun to understand that some people enter our lives not to be replaced, but to activate us. To awaken parts of us that remain dormant otherwise. You did that for them. You changed how they feel love, how they feel safety, how they feel truth. And once that kind of activation happens, it cannot be undone. That is why meeting you feels inevitable. They feel like life keeps circling back to the same emotional point, again and again, until they finally choose courage. They are no longer asking themselves if they should meet you. They are asking themselves how long they can keep avoiding it before it starts costing them their peace. They feel the cost already. Sleepless nights. Sudden emotional heaviness. Moments of silence where your name echoes in their chest. They may not admit this to anyone, but the thought of you moving forward without them creates a sharp, quiet pain. Not jealousy. Not possession. But loss. The kind of loss that comes from knowing you let something precious slip away without fighting for it. That pain has become their teacher. It is showing them what truly matters. And what matters is not comfort. It is truth. That is why they want to meet you now, not later. Because later feels like betrayal to their own soul. They want to meet you before life hardens them again. Before fear regains control. Before circumstances create more distance. They want to meet you while their heart is still open, still honest, still brave enough to feel. This meeting is not about convincing you of anything. It is about allowing something real to exist without hiding. They want to sit across from you and let the truth breathe between you. Even if words fail. Even if emotions rise. Even if silence takes over. They trust that what is real will speak on its own. They are done pretending indifference. They are done suppressing emotion to appear strong. They have realized that true strength is vulnerability without expectation. And that realization has changed them. They are approaching this meeting with humility. With openness. With a willingness to accept whatever truth reveals itself. They know you may ask questions they don't have perfect answers to. They know you may express pain they cannot erase. And they accept that. Because avoiding discomfort has only prolonged suffering. Meeting you feels like choosing healing, even if it is uncomfortable at first. They want to look at you and finally acknowledge what has always been there. The connection that never fully disconnected. The bond that stayed alive beneath silence. The pull that refused to disappear. They want to feel the energy shift when you are in the same space again. They want to know if your soul still recognizes theirs instantly, without effort. They want to know if the familiarity still exists, not just in memory but in presence. And deep down, they believe it does. That belief is what gives them courage. You may feel this energy building too. A strange calm mixed with intensity. A sense that something important is approaching, even if you can't name it yet. You may feel more reflective than usual. More emotionally aware. More sensitive to signs. That is because this connection is activating both of you simultaneously. When two souls are meant to face truth together, the universe prepares them quietly. It clears space emotionally. It brings unresolved feelings to the surface. It creates moments of pause so awareness can enter. This meeting is not random timing. It is synchronized readiness. Both of you have grown enough to face what once felt overwhelming. Both of you are stronger now, not because you hardened, but because you learned. And learning has softened you in the right places. When this meeting happens, it may not look dramatic to the outside world. But internally, it will feel monumental. You may feel time slow down. You may feel emotions rise unexpectedly. You may feel seen in a way that feels rare. Not because they are doing something extraordinary, but because they are present without walls. That presence will remind you of why this connection mattered so deeply in the first place. It will remind you that some bonds don't fade, they wait. And waiting does not weaken them. It strengthens them when handled with awareness. Your soulmate is ready to handle this connection consciously now. They are ready to show up consistently instead of disappearing. They are ready to communicate instead of assuming. They are ready to choose truth even when it requires change. That readiness is why this meeting is approaching. Because the universe does not bring people back together until they are capable of honoring what they find. This is not about repeating the past. It is about meeting again as evolved versions of yourselves. With clearer boundaries. With deeper understanding. With more emotional maturity. And whatever unfolds from this meeting will be rooted in reality, not fantasy. That is what makes it powerful. Whether it leads to rebuilding something stronger or bringing peaceful closure, it will release something that has been held inside both of you for too long. And release is freedom. Your soulmate wants to meet you because they are ready for freedom. Freedom from wondering. Freedom from regret. Freedom from suppression. And meeting you is the doorway to that freedom. This is why the energy feels intense. This is why the message feels personal. This is why your heart feels stirred. Because something real is aligning. And when it arrives, it will not demand anything from you. It will simply reveal truth. And truth, once seen, changes everything. Your soulmate wants to meet you because this is the final point where truth can no longer be postponed. This is the moment where the universe quietly says that whatever was meant to be faced must now be faced, not tomorrow, not someday, but now. They have crossed the stage of confusion. They are no longer trapped in maybe or what if. What they feel now is certainty mixed with surrender. Certainty that you matter more than they ever allowed themselves to admit, and surrender to the fact that life will not let them move forward without resolving this connection. They finally understand that unfinished bonds do not disappear, they follow you. They show up in silence, in dreams, in moments of weakness, in moments of honesty. They have felt you in those moments more times than they can count. They have tried to silence that feeling, but silence has only amplified it. Now they are ready to face you, not to demand answers, not to control outcomes, but to stand in the same space as you and allow truth to exist without fear. They want to meet you because they no longer want to live divided, one part of them moving forward and another part stuck with you. That division has exhausted them. It has drained their energy. It has made them realize that peace cannot exist where honesty is missing. And honesty begins with presence. Meeting you is their way of choosing presence over avoidance. They are not coming to relive the past. They are coming to acknowledge it, to respect it, and to understand what it became over time. They want to see who you are now, not who you were then. They want you to see who they are now too, stripped of fear, stripped of excuses, stripped of emotional armor. This meeting is not meant to be dramatic. It is meant to be real. They imagine sitting with you and feeling a strange calm settle in, the kind of calm that comes when something finally makes sense. They imagine listening to you speak and realizing how deeply they missed not just your presence, but your perspective, your energy, your way of seeing the world. They imagine moments where words fall short and silence takes over, but the silence feels safe, not awkward. That is what they want most. Safety in truth. Safety in honesty. safety, and finally being themselves around you again. They know that once they meet you, something inside them will settle, no matter what direction things take afterward. Because clarity heals in ways hope never can. They are no longer chasing fantasy. They are choosing reality. And reality begins with this meeting. You may feel emotional weight lifting even before it happens. A sense of readiness you didn't consciously prepare for. That is because your soul has already accepted what your mind is still processing. Your soul knows this meeting is necessary. It knows this is a turning point. Not because it guarantees a specific future, but because it restores balance. When the meeting happens, you may feel exposed in a gentle way. Seen without being judged. Heard without being interrupted. You may realize that the connection you shared did not weaken with time, it matured. It learned patience. It learned restraint. And now it returns with depth instead of chaos. Your soulmate is not coming to take something from you. They are coming to give something back: honesty, presence, truth. They understand now that love without courage becomes regret, and courage without truth becomes emptiness. This meeting is where courage and truth finally meet. After it, things will not feel unclear anymore. Whatever path opens will feel grounded. If it leads forward together, it will be because both of you chose it consciously. If it leads to closure, it will be peaceful, not painful, because it will be rooted in understanding instead of assumptions. That is why this moment matters. Because unresolved connections keep us emotionally tied to the past, while resolved connections free us to live fully in the present. Your soulmate wants to meet you because they are ready to be free, not from you, but from uncertainty. They are ready to stop wondering and start knowing. They are ready to accept whatever truth reveals itself without resistance. And that readiness is rare. When it appears, the universe responds quickly. That is why this message found you. That is why your heart recognized it instantly. Because deep down, you already knew this meeting was coming. You felt it in the quiet moments. In the sudden thoughts. In the emotional waves that made no sense on the surface. Now it makes sense. This is the closing of one chapter and the honest opening of whatever comes next. Nothing forced. Nothing rushed. Nothing hidden. Just truth, finally standing in the light. And when this meeting happens, you will understand why it could not happen any earlier. You will see that timing was not delay, it was preparation. Preparation for maturity. Preparation for honesty. Preparation for peace. Your soulmate wants to meet you because both of your souls are ready now. Ready to acknowledge what was real. Ready to honor what remains. Ready to let truth decide the future instead of fear. And once that truth is felt, everything will fall into place exactly as it is meant to.